Hello, my friends, and welcome to the year 2019. I hope you had a great start of the year, good New Year's Eve. And let's start this year with 5 ideas to get your creative juices flowing. My name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer from Vienna, Austria, and let's get started. So the first thought for me was to give you get directly into Affinity photo tutorials, and then I thought, no, maybe let's get a soft start. So let's look at some ideas. Close this and go over to my browser, because the first thing that I want to suggest to you to become better at your art and get more creative is every month of 2019, pick another photographer that you like or that you have heard of, that you've seen. Analyze their pictures, read about them, watch YouTube videos about them. You know that I really like Chapelle, so here's one of his pictures. It's called A Sudden Gust of Wind. It's after a picture by Hokusai, which is an old Japanese artist. And this looks like one photo, but it's made from a lot of different photos over time. So he took a long time to photograph each of these elements individually and then compose them into this picture. You can see here, this is the original artwork by Hokusai, really old artwork, very famous, and he redid it as a photo in a modern art form. Another artist I really like is Chapelle. He's really cool, and a thing you can see here is he likes to work with really extreme colors. Here we have another picture by him, and there is another picture by him. And the thing to take from this is when you look at this picture, you might think, oh, this looks like a rainbow of colors, so much color going on. But when you look closely, when you actually observe the picture, you will find there is very few colors in it. So you can see the shirt, the table, his robe, his jacket over here, they are all blue. Then we have some red colors here again in the shirt, in the shoes, in his wristband, here on the stripes and the jacket. Then we have some yellow colors. Back here also the flowers again, red, then some yellow shoes. And that's basically it. There isn't much more going on here. It's not the rainbow that you expected. It's carefully selected colors that you find in all of the different elements. And you can find this also in the other pictures. For example, here you can see it's blue and then it's green and then it's basically violet up here and a little bit of yellow. So it's just 4 colors in this very colorful looking picture. So you can do a lot with a good thought about what you're doing with your pictures, and this is why it's very good to observe artists and what they do with their art. And here's the second thing that I want to suggest to you for 2019 to get your creative juices flowing is take less pictures. You would maybe expect me to say take more pictures, but I want you to take less pictures and think more about the necessity of each picture that you're taking. Because if you live your life looking through the camera and trying to edit thousands of pictures, you will lose out on the really important moments, on really understanding the world around you, so you can't get more creative with that process. It's better to take less pictures, think more about the individual picture that you're taking, maybe put a lot more time into one scene where you think, hey, this could be cool, but I have to prepare it. Maybe I have to take a lot of pictures, then compose it later on. And you end up with one picture, but that one picture is a lot better and a lot more creative than just photographing everything you see. And I have done this in the past too, but it's not good to photograph everything you see on your vacations and holidays and parties and all this kind of stuff. Try to select individual moments and make them into a special photo. It really teaches your eye and your skill to focus and bring out the most important parts. And you might think, now is maybe not the best time of the year to photograph anyway, because everything is gray outside. And here's the next thing, the third part that I want to suggest this year to you is experiment more. And right now, of course, there's a lot of rain, there's bad weather, maybe you have snow, and You should experiment with this. For example, if you photograph with an iPhone or your smartphone, they have very little lenses, so you can go up to the window to a water drop and photograph the world through the water drop and make the water drop really big, or stretch the world or the colors or the lights in all kind of crazy ways through this kind of optical how can I say, influence on the light by the water drop. So you can do really cool things. If you have a, like, how do you say, DSLR camera or other camera, you can try to take all these kind of different pictures of water on glass or on the surface or through the window. There's a lot of different effects, as you can see, depending on the angle of your camera, of the light, of the sharpness, of the exposure. Of course, you know the pictures where you can make water very soft when it's flowing from the roof or in the river, or you can freeze it like here. So there's a lot of things you can do with rainy weather, with bad weather, that will also train you to make the most of the situation. Okay, here comes the fourth part, and this is about scenes. A lot of photography is happening in your mind before you take the picture, and the more you're able to do the stuff in your head before you actually take the picture, the better the pictures will be, because you can prepare, you can experiment, you can think about different scenes in your mind. But to be able to do this, you have to be able to see and read and understand the scenes that are happening before your eyes. So what I want to suggest to you is put the camera down for a moment and look at the scene. Just when you have some time, you're waiting for a train, you have some minutes in the street, waiting for your coffee to go, stuff like that. Look out the window, look down the road, and look at every element you see and describe what you see and the details of what you see. Because you will be surprised at how much is actually happening in an everyday scene, and how much interesting things are actually going on, and how many interesting stories are behind these everyday occasions that might seem very small and insignificant at first, but when you start to describe them and analyze them and look at them and notice them for the first time, you see that there is so much interesting stuff all around you. And building up this kind of understanding in your mind and this kind of library of having looked into these different situations gives you this kind of archive in your mind where you can build pictures in scenes and think, hey, this would be an interesting photo before you even take the photo. So you come to a place and you already know what kind of photo you want to take, and then you are very well prepared for that. So that's a very, very good exercise, not photographing with your camera, but rather with your mind, and look at all the different details. And the third thing that fits to all of the things that we have talked about so far is go to a boring place that you know from everyday life, because everybody can photograph something that's beautiful and make it look great because it's already in the scene. But really skill comes, real good skill, real artistic, how can I say, expression comes from making something from a scene that's boring, that's hard to capture, something that you have seen every day, and it's hard to get something out of it where you're not bored just looking at the picture, you know? So this is a really good exercise. And like you can see here, like we have a train station here. A lot of you probably every day go with the train or with the bus to work. So there you have some minutes of time where you can pull out your smartphone or take your camera with you and try to capture this scene from an interesting perspective. Again, maybe take some time, look at the scene, analyze the different things that are happening. You can take pictures of the scene, of the people, of things that are happening there, of strange occasions or kind of random things that someone has forgotten or dropped or thrown away, stuff like that. There's a lot of things happening also, as you can see here, the weather situation. And because, like I said, because the situation is boring and everyday and you know it so well, it's really hard to turn it into something interesting. But because you have seen the scene before so often and you probably spend a lot of time at these places, could also be the parking lot of your supermarket, stuff like that, everyday places, you know that you have some time probably every day to take at least a picture there and try to find something interesting about that and improve your skill in that way. And this is kind of minimalistic, but minimalism is a very good way to focus on certain elements of your art, and then you can use these skills when you get more elaborate and colorful and like fuller scenes. You know what are the important parts and what might be too heavy or too much for the picture. So this is a really great exercise. So these are the things that I would suggest to you for at least the next months, maybe even all of 2019. I can guarantee you that this will improve your skill and will be a lot of fun. And yeah, the next time we will have a real Affinity photo tutorial. But for this tutorial, to get the year started, I want to start soft. I want to give you some ideas and get your creative juices flowing. Thank you very much for listening, for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Have a nice time. Bye.